Well, good morning, everybody. My name's Jennifer Douglas. For those of you I haven't had the opportunity to meet, I'm one of the assistant directors here. Tanya is out today. And so we are going to jump right in order to honor your time. So thank you for taking time out of your day to hop on the provider call. We're going to start out today with Laura Webb, and she's going to share some updates about payments. Laura, you on? Well, we might give her a minute to hop on.
Let me Skype her, inbox her just a moment.
Okay. Thank you, Keeler.
Okay, Jennifer, while I'm gathering Laura, if you want, you can go. You're up next if you want
Sure.
to go ahead and do your part, and then hopefully we can get Laura on by then.
Yes, please. If you would share your screen for me.
Okay.
Okay, so the couple of things I just wanted to share with you guys today is we are going to have another round of town halls coming up in October into early November. Keeler, can you go? There we go. Here's the schedule for those. We had a round a few months ago. Where we went to five different locations and Tanya spoke on kind of the state of the state in early childhood. And so in October, we're going to go to five more locations, and you guys can see them here. Jonesboro, Gillum, Harrison, Pine Bluff, and Conway. And the addresses are there also. They'll be from 10 to 12. So please, if you want to make arrangements to attend in one of those that are close to you or share that information with people in your community so they can come learn more about early childhood and then also bring any questions to Tanya. She will be present at all of those. And then our team will go with her to some, or if not all of them, she'll have pieces of our team there as well. So the next thing I wanted to update you guys on is local leads. So we are in the process of getting ready to choose cohort 3 of local leads, which will cover the entire state of Arkansas, all 75 counties. But right now, cohort 1 and cohort 2, which cover 65 of the 75 counties, they're getting ready to do a child count. And the child count is a part of the LEARNS Act, and it is really just coming up with an unduplicated number of children that are currently being served in our programs across the state. And the purpose of this, other than the fact it's in the law, is just to kind of come up with a true capacity that we have across the state and identify any gaps in services where childcare may be needed, or help us locate if there are childcare deserts across the state of Arkansas, like where are those and how can we help families have better access to quality childcare. So I will drop in the link here in a second. Um, the link to where this is specifically, but this is a part of Governor Huckabee Sanders' executive order that we will include, we will participate in a child count across the state. And so this is for providers who accept any federal or state funding. It's a part of the process, and we're really just wanting a number. So as of October 1st, how many children you serve in each of your classrooms. And your local lead in your area will be working with you to gather that information in some capacity, either through a survey or they may come visit you. So we just wanted to mention that today. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or your local lead. But it's really just a number. That's all we're wanting. And if you're not sure where your You can go ahead and go to the next slide. If you're not sure who your local lead is, this is a hyperlink to the local lead website, and it lists the local lead by county. It has their name and their email address. And then the last thing I wanted to share before turning it over to Lori is we are in the process of asking for applications for cohort 3. And if you look at this map, that's the last 10 counties across the state, and they're the ones grayed out on this map. So if you live in one of those areas and are interested in applying, you can go to the local leads website, and the link to the application is at the very bottom of the web page. And then my contact information is also there. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. The one thing I will point out is we are also looking for Pulaski County. Pulaski County right now is green, but that is really just representative of the city of Little Rock. And so in this cohort 3, we're also looking for a local lead application who would like to potentially represent Pulaski County as well. So with that, I think I am finished.
And Laura is here.
Perfect. Then we will pass it back to Laura so that she can share with you some
I have a
payment.
question for Jennifer.
Yes.
Okay, Jennifer, for the counties in the gray,
Huh?
because they're doing this, the child count for October 1st, do you have somebody doing the child count in those counties as well?
No, for right now, we will only do the counties that are in blue and green. And then once
Okay.
cohort 3 is chosen, we will do a child count with cohort 3 in the spring. And then we will get all 75 counties next October in a regular cycle of doing an October 1 count. That's a
Gotcha.
great
Thank you.
question. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, I'll pass it over to Laura.
Good afternoon. I apologize that I was not on the call. Originally, I was out of the office and well, just got back in the last 15 minutes and saw the email. So the update on the payments is I am now doing the payments. We had another person that was doing it in our finance office. So I have taken that over. Um, I took it over maybe about a month ago, and then I went on leave and was trying to do the payments while I was on leave. So I know that for about a week or two, um, it was kind of some chaos with the payments. However, since I've been back, um, the last 2 weeks that I've been doing it, it has been going smooth. And if you have not been receiving your payment, please let me know. But as far as I know, everything has been going through without any hiccups. Um, we are working with our IT team to fix the remittance issue that we have. Hopefully, we will get it fixed pretty soon. So if that is an issue with you as well, please email me. It's better to email me than to call me. But the update that I have on the payment is that I'm processing them now. If you have any issues with that, you can email me and we can work that through together.
Thank
And
you.
Paige has dropped my email address in the chat.
Thank you, Laura. Does anybody have any questions for Laura? We appreciate everybody's patience with the payments. Hopefully, we've got a great plan in place now to get those to you. Okay, now I'm going to pass it over to Lori Bridges, and she's going to talk to you a little bit about our class pilot and pre-K Rise.
Thank you, Jennifer, and good afternoon. I want to spend a little bit of time today reviewing the class pilot and an opportunity for a pre-K Rise foundational literacy professional development opportunity. So if you will go, Laura, just go ahead and go to, excuse me, Keeler, you're, oh, I can I'll tell you what, I can, yep, there she goes. We've got multiple drivers today for our presentation, so go ahead and go to the next slide. I want to review some of the information that we have shared on our provider calls the last couple of months about the class pilot. We are in phase 1 of the class pilot that is required by the LEARNS Act for us to look at a tool to get a consistent view of the state of quality around child and teacher interactions. The phase 1 class pilot is starting this fall, and we have selected programs in cohort 1 local leads catchment area. So the programs that are going to be participating in phase 1, which is this fall, are part of the local lead cohort 1. Those programs have been selected with criteria around whether or not they were up for Better Beginnings recertification, and if they were due for an ABC ERS evaluation. So those were the 2 priority programs in local lead cohort 1 catchment area. And then, so during this pilot learning year, there will be no ERS evaluations. And so again, I want to reiterate that there will be no ERS evaluations for programs during this pilot learning year, unless you have, if your program is choosing to level up in Better Beginnings. So say you are at a level 2 and you want to level up to a 3 or a 4. In that instance, you would be required to utilize the ERS tool for those recertifications or leveling up in Better Beginnings. Brand new programs are another program that would be using ERS, the ERS tool this year. So if you're a brand new program needing Better Beginnings certification, you would use ERS. Or if your program is choosing to level up and get Better Beginnings, you would use the ERS tool. Other than that, there will not be ERS evaluations during the pilot learning year, giving our programs time to get acclimated and learn about the class tool and how that will be utilized across the different age bands. There is a class for infants, a class tool for toddlers, and a class tool for our pre-K 3 and 4-year-olds. Okay, so just to reiterate who will be participating in this phase 1, it will be those programs selected out of local leads cohort 1. Okay, the next slide, we're going to share with you the timeline for this phase 1. Now, cohort 1, they have been, let me back up. So during July, we have been utilizing July and August to build our pool of observers, class observers. We will continue throughout the year to grow that tool, grow that pool of certified class observers. And in just a minute, I'm going to share with you some dates for some of those trainings. We have been working in July and August, the Office of Early Childhood, to share the protocols and the guidelines for cohort 1, phase 1 class pilot. And I'll be sharing those with you and where you can access those. We have also been supporting the class pilot on providing ongoing support with our class observers and our local leads. And then starting in September, you can see where we will begin our practice ratings with our programs that are participating in the pilot. And then at the end of this semester in December, we will be using those practice ratings and the data to get some data around where our cohort 1 pilot programs are with their class ratings, and that will give us guidance on moving forward with phase 2 during the spring semester. So yes, and just to clarify, there are no ERS assessments for programs, even if you're not in the class pilot phase 1. Again, this is going to give you opportunity to use this as a growth year around interactions and those quality interactions. Okay, the next slide, please, Keeler. Now, this is a web page that I want to share in order for all of our programs to understand a little more about the class pilot. There are 2 different ways you can get there. You can use the QR code with your phone to take you to the web page, or in your URL address bar, you can just put www.oeclass.org, and that will take you to the web page, which I'm going to share my screen briefly and share with you information that you can access through the web page. I want to thank our OEC team that works with the content and development unit on working to provide this web page that is going to allow you to find the information around class in one location. So you can get some information on what is class, and it will give you several different resources. There is a PowerPoint that we have been using across the state that you can utilize to share with your program staff, community staff. Our local leads have been sharing this information with their providers as well. It also will give you the implementation timeline. Briefly, what I shared briefly with you to give you an idea of this phase 1 timeline. And then in the spring, we will be going into phase 2, utilizing programs in cohort 2. We have a class frequently asked questions document. So again, it will help you understand how the class pilot learning year is being implemented, the programs that will be participating, and how class can support quality of child-teacher interactions across the state, which is the #1 predictor of quality programs. We also want to share with you a calendar. So if your program is participating in phase 1 and you are wanting to get trained as a class certified observer, we are encouraging our program directors and to look into these dates to become a certified class observer. You will be working with your local lead to get these trainings provided to your programs. But you can look through the dates on when these trainings right now with the Office of Early Childhood will be provided. These right now are on site in Little Rock, but you can go through each month to see the pre-K class observer trainings. And then starting in January, we will be offering the infant and toddler certified observer trainings as well. So I was checking the chat, and thank you, team, that are working on answering the chat. We also have the protocol, the class pilot protocol, we have it in a couple of different forms here. This is a slide deck that walks through the protocol for our class pilot. There is also the section here that gives it to you in a document format. So you can read through what the protocol will be used during the class pilot. And we also want to put in that this pilot protocol, we will be revising and updating as we gain information and data from our observers and our programs and our local leads across the state. So again, this is what we're utilizing right now, but we want to give a disclaimer that it will probably be changed and updated and revised to support any changes that are needed during this class pilot. Again, everything will be uploaded to the website. So as you go to the website, any changes will be reflected here. And you can see that there are several areas. Anytime there is an area that is revised, we are highlighting that area. So you will know that that has been an area we have revised during the class pilot. If you are a leader of a program, there are going to be some resources for you as a leader. If you are a teacher in a class, in a classroom, infant to pre-K classroom, there are some resources for our educators, for our class observers that will be observing our class rooms across the state. There is information about some class group coaching that we will be looking into as we move forward with this class pilot. Local lead information. This is what Jennifer had shared with you earlier. If you need to refer back to what local lead your program is a part of, you can access that from here as well. We also have the Teachstone webpage, which provides a lot of information and resources to support you during this growth year and this learning year, even if you are not participating in the phase 1 or phase 2 pilot. Okay, and then again, some resources. So again, this is our way of making sure that all of the information you have access to learn, to grow, and support your programs and staff around the class pilot initiative. So Keeler, if you will go back to the PowerPoint.
Okay.
I'm going to. Okay, so that was a good question. On the observation training, to register, the first thing that you will need to do is reach out to your local lead and let them know of your interest of participating in a class certified observer training. When you go to the web page and you go to that calendar, and I'm going to share that one more time because I should have shared that when we went there the first time. If you go to that calendar, the scheduled class trainings, and if you go right down here to the link, so if you are wanting to request one of the trainings, when you click on the link, it's going to take you to a form, and you would complete that form for your interest. Our Office of Early Childhood will be confirming with your local lead that you will be participating in the class observer training. But if you go back, you will see there is a Google form right underneath the calendar where you would submit your interest in the training. The other trainings like the Class 101, some of the primer introduction, those trainings and opportunities can also be supported by your local lead. So very good question. Thank you for bringing that, Renee, to our attention. And again, we have a web page, excuse me, an email address for support. So anytime that you need support with any of this, you can reach out to one of our staff here at the Office of Early Childhood.
Hey, Lori, there was another question in the chat about can they go ahead and start the trainings if they are not a part of phase one? And there's so many different components to that. I thought it may be better for you to answer out loud.
Yes, yeah. So our priority right now is to get our class observers, certified observers in our cohort 1. Now, cohort 2, your local leads will be reaching out to you as we get our confirmation of our programs that will be participating in phase 2. So again, right now, our priority for those observer trainings are for cohort 1, phase 1. And then in the spring, we will have cohort 2, phase 2 priority. So again, the first thing that you need to do is to reach out to your local lead, and then they will let you know whether or not, depending on the cohort that you are working with, on whether or not because we do have limited availability for those spaces, so we do have to set priority. But again, reach out to your local lead, let them know of your interest. They can put you on a list, and we will be working to provide opportunities to build capacity for our local lead, for our class certified observers. All right, so again, the class pilot, the web page will give you a lot of information, but it will also give you the information on who you can reach out to if you do not find the information that you are looking for. All right, moving on to, we also wanted to share an opportunity. The Pre-K Rise initiative is a early childhood foundational literacy initiative that started 2 years ago, really working to align the science of reading and what that looks like in a birth to 5 space. We have a link here that will take you to the Pre-K Rise initiative webpage. Oh, there you go. And it looks like, let me share my screen. I want to share a couple of different entry points to the Pre-K Rise initiative. Now, if you are not familiar with the Pre-K Rise initiative, you can go to the webpage that is linked in the slide deck, and it will give you information about the foundational literacy opportunities provided by the Office of Early Childhood. One of the things that I want to share with you today is an opportunity with the Letters for Early Childhood. We have our fall cohort starting in October. We have some slots that are available, so we wanted to make this an opportunity for any licensed provider that serves pre-K, ages 3 and 4. If you are a licensed provider and provide an educational setting for 3 and 4-year-olds, you can participate in this opportunity. If you are interested, it gives you some dates for you to check your calendar. The kickoff, which would be October 1st, is virtual. So even though it doesn't state this here, but this would be a virtual kickoff where we talk about the expectations for the course. And we go through the link, the web page, excuse me, the portal that you would be using to complete this coursework. And then we have what we call virtual live training dates, where they are virtual, but they're with a live person. It's not a webinar. Engagement is expected, where we have cameras off and we participate in some experiences that deepen the knowledge of the coursework. But we want to make sure that you understand that there would be 4 for each cohort, and we have 2 cohorts available this fall. For each cohort, there would be 4 days that would be required for you to participate in a live virtual session. Those are 3-hour sessions, and we hold those in the evenings from 3:30 to 6:30. But make sure that those dates would work for you before you register. But again, we have some slots available. If this is something that you as a program director, coordinator, or you have early childhood staff to participate in this 35.5-hour opportunity, and it's a multiple month, it goes through October, November, December, January. So there would be some but this website will give you some more information. There's a FAQ on the letters course, some bridge to practice activities. But if you are interested in registering, you would click on the link, or you can scan the QR code that we have on the slide deck. But when you click on that, it will take you to a form, and you would complete your interest and commitment to the Letters for Early Childhood Professional Development course. I'm going to take just a minute. There is no fee. Thank you, Jennifer, for answering Anna's question regarding the trainings. Right now, these are all offered through the Office of Early Childhood. Okay.
Lori, I have a question.
Yes.
If let's say there's a provider, does it have to come through the director or the school, or can it come through an individual teacher? So if like a teacher's like, I teach 3-year-olds and I want to sign up for this, can they do it on their own, or does it have to come through their director?
They could sign up. We do recommend that you, all staff let their directors know of their interest in participating, because it is a commitment. Again, it is done off of contract time. So if you're, unless they're working, past 3:30, which a lot of our providers offer those hours. So yes, it would be important for them to go through their director, but they would not need a director's approval for registration. Again, it would be more to let them understand the dates of those live virtual trainings, and that those start at 3:30 in order to make sure that they have coverage or are able to get to a computer to participate in those live virtual sessions. And yes, there will be some spring cohorts as well. We have been doing, again, this is our 30th cohort starting this fall. So over the last 3 years, we've been doing cohorts, and approximately on average 10 cohorts a year. So again, we are continuing this initiative. We also want to reiterate that all of this professional development around foundational literacy aligns with class and language development and supporting getting children ready for school age programming. Again, it is not to teach them to read or to identify all of their letters prior to kindergarten, but to really allow them to participate in learning experiences in this birth to 5 area to be ready for that next stage of literacy programming in school. So kindergarten readiness. Again, if you have any questions regarding the class pilot initiative or the Pre-K Rise Foundational Literacy Initiative, please reach out to myself or one of our early childhood specialists, and they can support you with any questions. With that, I'm going to allow Keeler to pass this on to Dawn Jeffrey.
Hey, Dawn, before you start, I just wanted to make a quick note. Lori mentioned about there not being a requirement for ERS assessments unless you are planning to move up in Better Beginnings level. And we have had a number of providers who have actually achieved higher quality levels. We're really excited about. And we just wanted to make sure that everyone knows that that is important to us. We do have banners that we will be distributing through our local leads. Our local leads are our partners, and those will be coming out. There's been a little delay, but this is an opportunity for our local leads to get a chance to meet you. And we wanted to let you know that if you're waiting on a banner, they will be coming.
And thank you, Paige, for having my back on that. I was supposed to add that to my agenda. But again, we are excited about programs that are taking the initiative to level up in Better Beginnings and using this time to do that. And we want to celebrate them by getting those banners to you through our local leads.
All right. Thank you, Paige. Thank you, Lori. So I'm going to talk to you just briefly about academic approval. And we know when the LEARNS Act came out that was a requirement for any program that receives ABC funding, publicly funded pre-K classrooms, school readiness assessment, early Head Start, or any program that has Medicaid or EIDT. We are calling school readiness assistance the same thing as CCDF. We are just trying to change that terminology because it is all about getting kids ready for kindergarten. So we have sent out a few emails to all of our EIDT providers, making sure that they will participate. And by participating means that you're going to do all health and safety standards. You are going to do that coordinated enrollment. So you will work with your local leads and that you will participate in that too. So we've had a few programs, for whatever reason, it was just like, I don't want to give my count. But if you are receiving any type of that funding, it is part of the local leads, part of the academic approval that you will participate in that. We are pretty much almost completely finished with everyone who needed to sign that. So if you get an email from me, that's what it's concerning. And if you have questions, you can always email me and ask. What I suggest to people is to read the LEARNS Act. In that section, it's very clear about academic approval. And I'm going to turn it over to Brandy, and she's going to talk about eligibility updates.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. As Dawn said, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about eligibility updates for the Office of Early Childhood. I want to draw your attention back to a couple of months ago when we talked about changes that would be released in July. So just as a quick recap, I'm going to go over the changes that were released in July, and then we're going to go forward and talk a little bit about these changes that will be coming out for you in October. So in July, we released a new sliding fee scale or our income scale for family eligibility. So you may have noticed that there was a significant increase in the amount of money that a family could make and still be eligible for CCDF childcare. We also changed the copay percentages from 40% of SMI, where a family would incur a copay, to that amount is now 75% of SMI. And the last change that went into effect in July was the reduction of the required work hours. We reduced from 30 hours a week being required to 20 hours a week. And I'm hoping that you all have seen a huge increase in the eligibility of the families that are applying to participate in your programs with those changes. But we weren't done. We have some more that are coming out for you all here in October. So those are going to be presumptive eligibility, what we're calling a front end or initial job search. We're going to talk about coordinating eligibility determination, and we're also going to see a rate increase. So I'm going to take you kind of just briefly through what these things mean and how they'll be a benefit to you and to your families that are trying to access your program. So we can go to the next slide. The first one is going to be presumptive eligibility. So we are going to, as you all know, we often have families submit applications to us and those applications are not complete. So we didn't receive one thing or another that's required now for a complete application. Effective October 1, we will have what's called presumptive eligibility. If a family submits to us an application, proof of Arkansas residency, and proof of citizenship for the child that is requiring care, we are going to label them presumptively eligible, and they will receive a 90-day authorization. Now, I do want to stress to you that these are only going to be 90 days. They have to, in that time frame, provide the rest of their documentation that is required for eligibility. But we do want to go ahead and get that family started and moving forward in your program as soon as possible. But we also are wanting to partner with you all to ensure that these families get the rest of their eligibility documentation into us so we can carry this family forward. So if you begin to see 90-day authorizations for some of your families, you may want to ask them about, hey, did you turn everything in, or what's going on with it? Or if you're working with a family and these are the only documents that they can produce at the time, we are going to, effective October 1, begin giving these families a 90-day authorization. Okay, next slide, please. So this is going to be very similar to the presumptive eligibility, but this is what we're going to call a front end or an initial job search. We know that some families are in need of school readiness assistance so that they may go out and look for work. And so we are effective October 1, we're going to start a 90-day authorization for families who are looking to, they're on a job search basically. They say, hey, I can't go out and look for work because I need someone to keep my baby, or I need someone to keep my 2-year-old, or who's going to pick up the child from school. We are going to work with those families to give them a 90-day initial or front end job search. Next slide, please. The next thing is going to be coordinated eligibility. So, in a lot of your programs, I know you experience where children are added to the household kind of in the middle of their authorization period. Say mom has been out, she's had a baby. Generally, we add that baby onto the current authorizations, and we just take it forward from where that current authorization is already located. So this family may be 10 months into their 13-month authorization. So the new baby would generally now come in at the 10th month, and they would get 3 additional months. We're going to now do what we're calling coordinated eligibility. So if that child is added toward the end or the middle or any time after an authorization has already started, we are going to, for lack of a better word, reset the authorization. The family will not need to submit additional documents to us or anything along those lines. We're just going to make sure that the authorizations for the newly added child and the current children that are on that case match. So if the baby was born and they added that baby to the case 10 months in, we're going to start that baby at 10 months and give that baby a 13-month authorization. And the additional children that were already on the case, will be extended along with that new baby. So this is an effort to make sure that we cut down on what the families are required and that all children in that case get the 13 months of eligibility. Okay, can we go to the next slide? So the last thing I want to share with you is a rate increase. This rate increase will go into effect of October 1. You can use the link that we have here. If someone on our team will go ahead and drop that link in the chat. It's already up on our website now. So if you go there, you will see the updated rate structure that is effective October 1. You will notice that there are only two identified geographic groups on this new rate structure. That is going to be urban rural. So all urban and rural areas will have the exact same rate. The only difference will come in on what we're calling urban plus. So urban plus is going to be considered Benton and Washington County because our market rate survey showed us that there are some variations in those counties in regard to rates. And so you will notice that all of our urban and rural areas will be reimbursed at the exact same rate. The only difference will be urban plus. Looking in the chat to see if any questions are there for us. Okay, so there is a question about vouchers for childcare workers or school readiness assistance for childcare workers. No, so this is not only for those employees who work in your classrooms. However, this is specific for employees who work with your early childhood children. So this is not a program that's for K-12 or for those who work the majority of their day with K-12 students. This program is for children or for employees who work with early childhood children. So if you have admin or IT staff, you can send that in for review. We would need to get specific information about what those team members are doing and how they're supporting your early childhood program. Some of those will be looked at on a case-by-case basis to see if they meet eligibility criteria, but we cannot say that all of them would be covered or would be eligible, but we will look at those on a case-by-case basis. Will these be the same guidelines for childcare workers? Yes, these guidelines that we've announced that are going into effect October 1, they are in regard to everyone. All right, Keeler, I'll turn it back over to, or Jennifer, I'm sorry, I'll turn it back over to you.
Okay, I think our next meeting is October 1st at noon, and Keeler's already dropped in where this will be posted once it processes, and we will also try to put all the links that we mentioned in the description in case you guys need to access those. So we want to thank you for your time today and hope you guys have a great afternoon. Thank you.